Hello everyone, this is Lisa with Grace and Old Paper. I want to do a flip through today of a journal I just finished. It may possibly be the only one I've completely finished, but I'm quite proud of it. There are a few boo-boos because, you know, I'm still learning this craft and not perfect yet. But I made this for a friend of my daughter's, and I will not be posting this video until she has received it. She has become a really good friend of my daughter's, lives right down the road, and I just kind of wanted to make her this journal because she has, you know, had some struggles this year, the same as the rest of us. You know, some anxieties and things like that. You know, we all have a bit of cabin fever, and over this past year, the ones of us that either work from home or stay at home, it's been kind of a rough year, and I'm not sure if anybody really realizes that, you know, that when you stay home all the time and then, you know, COVID hit, you know, even though we stay home all the time, we're still used to getting out and you know, going shopping, or even just window shopping or grocery shopping or whatever. But when COVID hit, people like me, we didn't even do that. You know, my groceries, I did grocery orders and picked them up. So I wasn't even going in the grocery store anymore. And so, you know, used to our little, you know, I'd go out to lunch once a week with friends and family, and, you know, get out and go to thrift stores and junk stores and to the mall, and, you know, all kinds of different little places. And then, you know, when COVID hit and we all shut down, and then those of us that are being more careful because maybe they have small children at home, or, you know, they work from home anyway. You know, when you can't go out anywhere, it kind of gets depressing, to say the least. And anyway, I wanted to make this as a thank you for all of the support and love she has given to my daughter. They have really become good friends, and their children are good friends, and their husbands are good friends. So it's just, I feel it's a wonderful thing, and I just felt like making the journal for her. Just, you know, something led me to do it. So this is what I come up with, and it is a compilation of some of the things that she likes. Admittedly, I've never met her, but my daughter has told me all about her, and I do hope to meet her one day when, you know, when we're safe to be around people. I'm one of those that takes the pandemic seriously, so, and my family does as well. So, you know, we're being really careful. But anyway, this is what I have made for her, and this is going to be a detailed flip through because she has never even heard of junk journals. She journals, but she's never heard of junk journals, and so I want to kind of walk. She's going to be able to see this video. I won't, like I said, I won't release it till she has the book, and I want her to know what she can do with the pages and just some of the things about junk journals. So I was originally going to make a closure, you know, punching a hole through here and here with eyelets and having a little ribbon closure here. But because this ended up being kind of a chunky journal and ended up a little bit of a gator mouth, I didn't want to put stress on the spine, because when you do that, at the ends, it makes this right here kind of pop out, and I didn't want to do that. So I opted for just a ribbon this way, which kind of smushes it all that way, a little more even on the force. So this is made out of just some seam binding, and I T-dot it, I frayed the edges, and then I ironed it when it was wet to help get some of those creases out. It's the only thing I could think to do. I'm not the best at bow tying, but that's what we came up with, and I'll have to do it again because I'm fixing to do that. So the let me just take that out from under it. The cover I made from a book I had. It was a new book, I think, from the dollar store. I had this fabric, and it's quilted fabric, pre-quilted, and I used it, and I carefully glued it down onto the book step by step. I did this part first, and then I did the little shoulders, and then I did the cover all the way across. I had this little vintage doily, whatever it is, and I thought about it afterwards. If I'd have done it first, I could have just easily sewed it on, but luckily I had some curved needles, and I was able to go around here after I had put the fabric on. So I have tacked it on around there, and then this little piece in the center is actually from a bigger, it was from a bigger doily, and when I cut out sections, it kind of comes out like this, but then I cut out these parts, and it became this kind of starry pattern there. So that's how I ended up with the cover. This is the inside cover. I had this purple fabric. This is stuff I had already. I didn't buy anything special for this. I just had this already. So I had this purple fabric. It does match the lighter tones in this fabric. I probably would have preferred something a little different, but this is what I had, and this is what I went with. This doesn't look the greatest. I'm not that pleased with it, but I had to do it because I made a rookie error. When I made my, this is a hidden spine. It has the gap right there, if you can see it. It is a hidden spine. But when I made my cardboard, my file folder piece for the hidden spine, and I made it too short. I don't know why. I don't know why. So it ended like, gosh, like right in here, and when I glued the fabric down, the fabric ended right there, and of course everything else came across. So I ended up putting a snippet of fabric under here to kind of add on, and you could still see it right here, and it really upset me. So I thought, well, I'll glue this little piece of lace down on both sides. And it's not perfect, but it does kind of cover up the gap. I had a hard time getting it glued down. But anyway, that's what it ended up. So the front cover, I sewed around, and I sewed on this vintage postcard because I love the fonts on it. And then I found this little piece of artwork from a book I had. I think it was All Things Bright and Beautiful. I am not in frame. Let's pull this down. So anyway, and I put this friendship poem on the back that I really think speaks to her and my daughter. It's just a pretty little poem out of a book. So I have this lady here. This came out of my Victoria's Secret books that I found at one of my thrift hauls. And she just, I don't know, she just kind of has this sassy look to her face, and I just loved it. And her little lilac colored ribbon, I love that. Kind of collaged this all together from bits and pieces I had. God is love. This lady loves purple. She loves God. She likes coffee. She used to play the clarinet. She likes games. They're big gamers. Video games, board games, all that kind of stuff. So I tried to incorporate bits and pieces of stuff I had that would go with it. So anyway, this is the front of the first signature, and I have put some really soft lace on here. I sewed it on. Got her a little bead dangle. I went ahead and glued on some notebook paper, and this is naturally aged notebook paper, not tea-dyed. For the lady that this is for your information, tea-dyed papers are not photo safe. So you can glue photos to this if you want. You can write on it. You can write on this. This is naturally aged as well. So those are okay to put photos on or write. I have this little pocket. It says, I am the vine, you are the branches. They do love wine. And so I found this photo. This is actually from the Biltmore Estates. This is part of their wine storage, and I just love the barrels, and I thought it looked really pretty in here. It is backed with some naturally aged paper, so you can put photos on that or write on it. Same as this paper. This is naturally aged. No tea dyeing there. You can write on it. If you want, you can take this out and you can put your own photos in it. That is fine. Or notes. I'll skip the page. You can use the back as well for photos, writing, notes, whatever. This is just a little snippet out of one of my collection books that is prayer books. These are antique prayer books. That's just some antique, I think that was a transcription of the Bible. This has been tea dyed. This paper, you can write on it, but it is not photo safe. Just for your information. But it is good for writing. This is a scrapbook piece of paper, so it is okay to put photos on. Glue anything to that you want to save, you know, mementos, anything. The back as well, you can do whatever. This is naturally aged, so you can write on it. You can glue pictures to it. I have slipped in a little card, and this is just a magazine image, and it was actually made from a playing card. You can faintly see the club through there, and I put some washi tape around it, so you can write on it. You can glue a photo to this if you want to put a photo on it. I would not do it to this side because it is just a magazine image, but this side you can do it too. This is from a vintage antique Christian music book. So it is naturally aged. So you can do, I don't know if you'll do anything to it, but if you wanted to, you could. I cut this out of a magazine and made it a side tuck. So you can just tuck stuff into about right there. If you wanted to tuck some more notes in or whatever, that's fine. This came out of a reproduction of a Sears and Roebuck catalog from a 1902 Sears and Roebuck catalog. She does love coffee. So these are coffees from Sears and Roebuck. I was reading some of the flavors, and they had quite a few unusual flavors. So, but cheap coffee. So I just tuck that right in there. The back is just file folder, so you can, you know, stick a photo on there. You can journal on it, whatever you want to do. Same thing. This is the music. This is tea dyed little ledger page, so only write on it. Don't use it for photos. This came from the Sears and Roebuck catalog as well. I put this in here because it has the wine corkscrew. It's just an old corkscrew. Let's see if it says how much this one was. Sterling silver. It was $2. This is an image out of a magazine I just thought was pretty. And it has file folder on the back, so you can use it for pictures or journaling. This is tea dyed paper, so only journaling. And like I said, you're free to remove all of these tags and stuff and put whatever you want in there. Tea dyed. This is a pocket I made out of a junk mail envelope that has the window in it. And I just collaged music paper, old book page, and these are scrapbook pages, and then some Tim Holtz flowers. This came out of the Victoria's Secret book, and that came out of a quilting book I got. I covered it up with sewing pattern tissue. I love the way it ages it and makes it look. The back is file folder, so you're free to do pictures or journaling. Same as this. This is scrapbook paper, so pictures or journaling is fine. There is also, let me find a little scrap here, a pocket back here. So, you know, you can slip something back there if you want. I just used the front pocket. And it's a little window. So since this is scrapbook paper, I went ahead and I put the naturally aged paper on the back. So pictures and writing is okay. This is from the collection book as well, and these are antique corkscrews. This is from the 19th century. These are antique corkscrews as well. This is naturally aged paper. It was naturally this color, so you can do pictures or journaling, whatever you prefer. This was just a doily because it's pretty. This is just a little flip thing I made. Got a little lace snippet on there. Open it up. It's got this little lady on here. This is vintage paper. And this little girl came out of a McCall's 1902 magazine. She was very, very delicate, and took some little while to fussy cut her and put her down carefully. I went ahead and put some naturally aged paper on here. So again, photos or journaling is fine. And it just folds up like that. Other side of the doily. Naturally aged paper. Free to do whatever. More of the corkscrews. Naturally aged paper on scrapbook paper. So free to do pictures or journaling. Pictures or journaling. This is completely open for you to do whatever. You can, as long as you use acid-free glue, a permanent glue, you can put your pictures on there. These are just a couple of tags I made into this tuck spot. This tuck spot is made of a scrapbook paper, so if you wanted to, you know, put your little image on here, you could. This was a pre-made journaling card out of scrapbook stuff, so it's free. You can put pictures or journaling on the back. I made this one by weaving, let's see, there is Sears and Roebuck catalog stuff. There is a French book. Apparently, I think she speaks French, or she took French. I think there is, oh goodness gracious, there's some music page, scrapbook papers, and then this little image from antique book I had. And then this little girl also came from the McCall's 1902 magazine. And I just sewed around it, made a tag. It is on file folder, so you can do whatever you want to the back, pictures or journaling. And I have found, because of the way this image is, that to put these back in here, it usually works better to do them both at the same time, or this one will get caught on that one, on these little bits and pieces. This is tea-dyed paper, so it is not photo safe. Not photo safe. Tea-dyed, not photo safe. Journaling, yes. Tea-dyed, journaling only. Another piece of the vintage Christian music. This one's from 1947. I made this little flip out. This one is okay to put pictures on. This is naturally aged. Again, the scrapbook paper, so you can do whatever you want with that. This is tea-dyed, so journaling only. I made this little sideways paper clip. Just slides on the page. I made it out of a pre-made card, but I added the purple lace and the little white bit and the button and the little vintage stamp, and I think they call this eyelash trim. So, and it just slides on the side of the page. You're free to remove it because it does help bulk up the journal. Okay, this is a piece of that Bible paper, but I have glued an envelope to it. But the top I left open, so it is a tiny little tuck spot. Got two of these little cards, and you can do whatever you want with them, pictures, journaling, whatever, because they are scrapbook paper, and I just slipped them right in there. So those are there. And then you flip this over, and I put lace all over the envelope. I cherish every moment, and this is just a snippet out of a magazine. And then when you flip it over, this is, I covered the rest of this envelope with napkin, so it's really soft and pretty. This is in here for her benefit. Oh, see, there's the little Bibles, the little antique Bibles. This is for her benefit because apparently she recently bought a Kirby vacuum. And I had found this in an old Life magazine from the 50s. And I just thought it was really funny. It's a Kirby ad. And when you read it, it's very, in our today terms, very odd. Because it says, your Kirby man, probably a neighbor of yours, is coming to see you soon, and there's a good chance you'll be as glad as the more than 1 million other smart homemakers who have already welcomed him. For he's a gentleman who merits your confidence, carefully chosen, trained, tested, a friend who, next to your husband, can be pretty important in your life. And then it says down here, when he rings your doorbell or telephones you, don't keep him waiting. You'll be happy that you welcomed him. I'm sorry, we don't welcome into our home nowadays, most likely. So I just thought that was funny, and I tucked that in there for her. So that folds back up. This is some vintage, vintage graph paper. So it is naturally aged. So you can pictures or journaling, whichever you want. This one again is naturally, so it's pictures or journaling. Pictures or journaling. So I have left you lots of journaling space in here because I know you journal. Scrapbook paper, so pictures or journaling, same, and same. This was what is called a signature. It's a grouping of papers sewed into a book together. So this is the first signature. The second signature, I decided to put this little lady at the piano because I know she has a piano that in her home. It has a little cross. You can see that, a little cross charm there. I just love this antique looking scrapbook paper. And this is naturally aged, free to do whatever, free to do whatever, free to do whatever. This is just a funny paperclip thing. I had seen I watch YouTubers that do this junk journaling, and I watched Gail Augustinelli do one of these based on one she had seen from somebody else. Hers ended up different from that lady's, and mine ended up a little different from Miss Gail's. So this is my version of what Gail Augustinelli did, and her version of what somebody else did. So it's just got some lace right here. That is just, I think it's just a snippet out of a book. And then music paper, little circles of music paper with a button, an old stamp. And then I've made some little banners here out of paper and music and scrapbook paper, and then a little Saved by Grace. So it's got a little piece of ribbon on top, and it just slips on and off the paper. So you can remove this and use this whole page for pictures or journaling, whichever you prefer. And it just, like I said, it just slips on the back, and I cover the paper clip. So this page, free to do whatever you want. This is another picture out of that Bible section of that book. It just shows Bibles on a shelf, and I thought it was really pretty. But, you know, since this is out of a book, you can do whatever you want to with it. If you want to glue something to it and cover it up, that's fine too. This is scrapbook paper, so you can do whatever you want. Naturally aged, do whatever you want. I put this little word snippet on here. It says, have the vision to see, the faith to believe, and the courage to do. And it just is a flip out, so you can do whatever you want with this one. Another one of the junk mail envelopes, and I just decorated it the same way. I did a little fussy cut of this little greenery out of a book I had. And this is a Tim Holtz butterfly. giver of life and blessings. I covered it with this piece of music. I thought afterwards it was silly to put music on music, but hey, whatever. It says, I'm saved, hallelujah. And I love that. And then this is just a snippet off of some, actually it was a failed piece of free digital that I downloaded. And it wasn't supposed to have this black background, but it ended up doing it. So I just tore it out and put the little purple flowers on there. Again, this one has another tuck spot in the back, but I have only used the front, so you can tuck something else in there if you'd like to. In the back, I made a pocket. Again, scrapbook, so you can do whatever here. This is a pre-made card from a scrapbook packet I had. I like the little purple flowers and the little bee on there. So you can do whatever you want, either pictures or journaling. I made this card, and it is, you know, I'm not even sure what I used to make this. It may have been a playing card I used. But I collaged it with French book and little piece of scrapbook paper and music paper and vintage music paper. Put this little unconditional love, and I had this little black and white image of these flowers I really liked. And then I made, this was my first fabric ruffle, and I was really proud of it. And so I've got that on there, and then I stitched some buttons on as well. So, and it is, on the back is naturally aged paper, so you can journal or glue pictures. And it just kind of sits right in there. Again, tea-dyed, journal only. Tea-dyed, journal only. This is a, they call it a coin pocket. And I downloaded, it was a free download, and so I made that, and I slipped in it this little card, and it's got this little fleur-de-lis and bead tassel on it, not tassel, charm, with a little bit of lace, and I pull it out. It's just a little card with some more of that napkin, and it is on a file folder, so you can do whatever you want to the back of that, and it just slips right in the top up here. So that's tea-dyed paper. That's the top of the coin pocket, and this was from a book I had that had that pretty trim in it, so I fussy cut it out and glued it on there because I really like that. So journal only, and you can see when I tea-dyed it, if you can see the coffee cup ring. I thought that was quite appropriate because she likes drinking her coffee. I hope you can see that. This is what's called a belly band. I cut this out of the Victoria's Secret book, and I glued on this little bits of trim. And underneath it, I slipped a vintage bingo card. And on the back, I just did a magazine photo. And this was actually a sticky note I had, but I've glued it down so that you can have some journaling room on the back. And it just slips right under. If you'd rather use it for something else, you can. You can slip photos under it, notes, whatever. This is scrapbook paper, so you're free to glue whatever you want to it. Yeah, free to do whatever because it's naturally aged. More of the corkscrew stuff. And these are bottle toppers with corkscrews. Naturally aged, so you can do whatever. Naturally aged. Tea-dyed. All of the green graph paper is tea-dyed. And then this pretty doily, it was a rectangle one, and I really like that. And then I made this little center card. It has the little tiny bric rack hanging down. I had some old scissors that did this scalloped edge. It's not perfect because I did mess up right there, but it's still okay. And I went ahead and put some naturally aged paper in here for you to do whatever you like in there. This is a cutout from the quilt book I had. So this is the rest of that. Now, tea-dyed. Naturally aged, so you can do whatever. Naturally aged. More of the bottle topper corkscrews with animals. More corkscrews. That one, it says it's a snuff box with a corkscrew. That's really funny. Naturally aged. on scrapbook paper, so you can do whatever you want to this one. Photos, whatever. This is a pocket, a corner pocket and tuck spot. Made out of scrapbook paper, backed with paper out of my French book I had. And I tucked in this little card that is a little fairy. I think she's adorable. So you can do whatever you want with that, because this is, what did I print this on? Cardstock. I just printed on cardstock, so it should be fine to do whatever you want. This, because she likes wine, I really thought this was funny. It came out of one of my old Life magazines as well. And she is a Christian, so I thought she might find this humorous. This is Christian Brothers Burgundy wine, made from the Christian Brothers of California, and that's actually a priest, this Brother Timothy, cellar master of the Christian Brothers of California, whenever this was printed. It's back in the 50s. So I just backed it with some book page to stabilize it, because these old images from the Time magazines I had are so incredibly delicate. So I just folded him up and stuck him in there so he's peeking out. But you're free to remove that and do whatever you want with it. This is tea-dyed, so journaling only. Tea-dyed, journaling only. This is another piece of the vintage Christian music, and I found this little birdie in a magazine, and I made him a pocket. So you can slip whatever you want in there. I just stuck in this little pre-made journaling card. So you can do whatever you want on that one. Naturally aged. I stuck this little magazine image on there on file folders, so you can do whatever you want with that as well. Scrapbook paper. You can do what you want with that one. This is the rest of the Bible page from the other side. See the bookshelf? Isn't that pretty? I love that. This is naturally aged on scrapbook paper, so free to do what you like on this one. This is naturally aged. This is that back half of that grid paper. This is scrapbook paper, so you can do pictures, journaling, whatever you want to do. This is called a flip out, and it flips out to a piece of the Sears and Roebuck catalog that has coffee mills, coffee grinders. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I washi taped it, and the washi tape is glued as well, so that it hopefully stays permanent, because washi tape is meant to be temporary, but that's been glued. So you can do whatever here. You can do whatever here, because this is naturally aged on scrapbook paper. You can do what you want here. So this was the end of the second signature. You can see the purple through here. Our third and last signature has this little lady, and we've all agreed this is one of our favorite ones. Came from the Victoria's Secret book as well, and how she's kind of shyly peeking out of the curtains. We like that. The charm on this one is just a pretty little bead. Came off a piece of jewelry I took apart. And so, again, scrapbook paper. That is scrapbook paper. And naturally aged, naturally aged, naturally aged. So lots of journaling in this book, lots of journaling space. This is scrapbook paper, and I did another one of these junk mail envelopes. And this one I just glued some little pieces of doily that I cut apart. Lace, I think that came off a piece of lace. And this little piece of trim. A little butterfly that actually came out of the quilting book. And then this apparently is one of the Vanderbilts from the Biltmore magazine, the Biltmore book. And then I did a piece of doily, some Tim Holtz flower, and this little snippet is from a vintage dictionary. And I put him in there because he is a purple martin. Says let your light shine. And this is on file folder, so you can do what you like. Again, it has a back pocket that I have not used. So she just slides right in there so she can peek out that window. Again, this is scrapbook paper with naturally aged, so you can do what you want. This Bible apparently has the picture on the side. Isn't that cool? From 1890. I thought that was really neat. Tea dyed, so journaling only. naturally aged. I just have a little flip out with an image from a magazine. Scrapbook paper, so you can do what you want. Vintage music. And here, I found this in the Sears and Roebuck catalog. And apparently they called it a clarionet then. So I thought this was really funny. My oldest daughter played clarinet as well. And it ended up cutting it off, but it talked about being careful of the changes of atmosphere and, you know, wipe it dry when you're done. But what I thought was really, really great here is if you look down here, if you get the, it's made of granadilla wood, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, with cork joints, 15 German silver keys. It's got the extra B flat and C sharp, 2 rings, German silver trimmed, and it is $14.75. Now we all know clarinets are very pricey. I think I paid $5,000 for my daughter's because it was a professional grade. $14.75. This is another playing card, and this is sewing tissue over the top to kind of age it. You can kind of read through it that there was a picture of mountain goats on there, which I kind of thought was funny. And then I just collaged on the front, and another corkscrew from the Sears catalog. There's a bit of that tissue paper on here with a little bit of a butterfly, you can see. So I just tucked those into this. Scrapbook paper, you can put something there if you want. Tea-dyed. Tea-dyed. I made this. This was one of the first things I made for this book. It is a button card, and I learned this from Miss Nancy at Wishes and Weeds. She says when you have a button card you like, but it doesn't have buttons on it that you like, just redo it and decorate it. And that's what I did. So I have some purple lace behind here. I put these kind of pearly looking white buttons on here. They are vintage. And then another piece of this fabric ruffle. And then I tied this little bow on there. And I turned it into a paper clip. So you're free to take that off and do whatever on this page that you want. But this is tea-dyed, so journaling only. Journaling only. This is an envelope, and I just kind of decorated the outside with a little poem about "Do not be anxious." I love that. I love that poem. Found this little birdie in a book. Cut him out. Piece of music. Now let it drape off the edge just because I like that. And when you flip it open, I got a little crazy decorating this one. So it has just some Sears Roebuck music, a little piece of brown paper with "Love Never Fails." This actually under here is a piece of, wow, what was that a piece of? Some kind of tissue, and I inked it. And then these are 3 little flowers I cut out and put on there, and some rickrack trim. And inside here is, this is a, out of the quilt book. So this is one of the quilt patterns they had in there. And I just put you some naturally aged paper on there, so you can do whatever you want to that. It slips in there. And if you want to change these cards out and put your own stuff in there, that is fine. This is a tea-dyed envelope. Both the envelopes are tea-dyed envelopes. This is scrapbook paper, so you are free to do whatever. I forgot to make that a tuck spot, so it is just simply glued down. So, more journaling, but it's naturally aged, so do whatever. This is the other half, and you could see it back on the other. This was this whole one thing on here, and the other half, wherever that is. Let me see if I can find it. What did I do with the other half? It's after the purple. Somewhere. Did I lose the other half? Seriously? Oh, that's the first half. Silly me. Anyway, this is an old corkscrew, but it's made out of a single piece of grapevine, which they thought it was really cool. It measures 14 inches across. More corkscrews. Naturally aged. Another doily. just because I like doilies. This was just a pretty bird. I thought he was kind of peacock colored, and I loved that. And I put a little snippet of lace on here, and prayers, everything. Another pair of my little fancy scissors. I collaged this piece of French book, which I have no idea what it says. Nourish Your Soul. I got a little piece of doily on here. Another one of my little girls from the 1902 McCall's magazine. And then this just little doggy. I just kind of thought it was cute to go with her. And there is paper in here as well. Naturally aged for you to do whatever. So that goes in the center. So doily. Naturally aged. Other half of that corkscrew. There's the other half of the vine rustic French corkscrew. This is naturally aged on scrapbook paper, so you can do whatever you want with this. Tea-dyed. Tea-dyed. More of the Christian music, and I just tucked in these cards. This one is a pre-made one from a scrapbook pack I had. I just thought it was really pretty. So you can do whatever you want with that. Writing, pictures, whatever. Same as this. This one is also from, it was a free printable off of my Facebook group. And I just loved what it said. And I said, trust in God. And I collaged it with a little bit of doily and, paper doily and a Tim Holtz. And it is on scrapbook paper that was printed, so you're free to do whatever you want to the back of that. They just slip in there. I liked this birdie. I don't know if she likes birdies, but I liked this birdie sitting on his little post. So I carefully cut him out and stuck him down on this paper. And when I did, he had a little section of his tail feather sticking out here, and when I glued it, it tore off, and it really upset me. So I thought, okay, what can I do? So I put on this little label, and I had some individual little stamps, and I just stamped bird on there, and some Tim Holtz flowers, and a Tim Holtz butterfly. And I like it. Again, scrapbook paper, so you can do what you want with it. Naturally aged paper, do what you want. I tucked in this little card, which is scrapbook paper as well, with naturally aged paper on the back, so you can do what you like. And I glued on this piece of lace, just to slip it right in there. Tea-dyed for journaling. Another piece of that Bible. Naturally aged on scrapbook paper, so you can do what you want. Naturally aged grid paper, and naturally aged on scrapbook paper. The back cover has 2 tags on it, and this is another one of those vintage postcards, and I just love that. Has 2 cards in it. This one has just got a pretty little image on music, and it's on file folder, so you can do what you like. This one has more of the Sears and Roebuck catalog, and it is coffee pots. I just like those. And it's on file folder as well, so do what you like there. So this is the book I have made. I did do a little snippet of lace here, if you can see that, as well as down here. That took me a while to figure out. But it has, it's got all this lovely, luscious lace here, and the little bead dangles. This one has worried me and stressed me out, so I have thought about removing it, but my daughters both say leave it. So it just has all these fun little things to do and look at. I hope she likes it. Thanks to all of you who have done junk journals and know what junk journals are for watching and listening. Is it perfect? No, it's not, but oh, and I meant to tell you, and I think I have explained this in another video, but the cover, since this was pre-quilted and, it's got some padding in it, and a back cover, I had to cut, around here, I had to cut the back cover off and the padding to wrap this fabric around so it wouldn't be too bulky. So I did that up underneath the card. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Like I said, I have mostly made this video for the lady that's going to receive this book. Like I said, as a thank you and an expression of, I'd say God's love, because I felt compelled and I feel like he wanted me to make this for her. So I hope you enjoy it. And anyway, I hope everybody liked the video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. I don't get too many of those. Thumbs up, like and subscribe if you'd like to. So may God bless you and keep you safe.